The difference between punishment and rehabilitation. Punishment. In the context of criminal justice, punishments refers to penalties imposed on individual for violating laws. The primary aim is to impose consequences for wrongful behavior, often through imprisonment, fines, or community service. Like punishments in criminal justice means giving penalties like jail, time, or fines to people who break the law to hold them accountable for their action. Rehabilitation. Rehabilitation focuses on reforming offender to reintegrate them into society as law-abiding citizens. Like rehabilitations help offenders change their behavior so they can return to society as responsible, law-abiding citizens.
The purpose of each approach. Why punishment? Deterrence is a punishment that is often justified as a means of deterring others from committing similar crimes. It is the fear of consequences can prevent individuals from engaging in criminal activities. Ito yung mga parusa na madalas na makatuwiran bilang isang paraan ng pagpigil sa iba sa paggawa ng mga katulad na krimen. Retribution. Society often seeks punishment to satisfy the needs for justice. It is seen as a way to balance the scales after harm has been done, offering victims and society a sense of closure. Ito yung mga parusa na naghahanap ng ng justice. Thus, maintaining order. Punishment can serve as a way to maintain law and order by showing the violations of the law will not be tolerated. So, ito yung mga parusa na maaring magsilbi bilang isang paraan upang mapanatili ang batas at kaayusan sa pamamagitan ng pagpapakita ng mga paglabag sa batas ay hindi ko konsintihin.
Why rehabilitation? Rehabilitation aims to address the root causes of criminal behavior such as substance abuse or lack of education to prevent future offenses. Promoting social. Rehabilitation helps offenders reintegrate into society by teaching them skills, providing therapy, or offering educational opportunities, increasing the likelihood that they will lead a productive life after release. Humanitarian approach. Rehabilitation is often viewed as more humane than punishment, recognizing that many offenders can change if given the right support. Long-term benefits. By focusing on reforming individuals, rehabilitation can reduce the overall crime rate, leading to safer communities and less strain on the criminal justice system.
The shift from punishment to rehabilitation. Many modern justice systems are moving towards rehabilitation, focused on models, recognizing that simply punishing offenders often leads to high recidivism rates. While punishment serves as short-term goals like incapacitation, rehabilitation offers a long-term solution by transforming offenders into contributing members of society. However, the balance between punishment and rehabilitation depends on societal values, the nature of the offense, and the individual offender's circumstances. Each case requires a careful consideration of justice, public safety, and potential for personal reform. Explanation so that many criminal justice systems are shifting from punishment to rehabilitation, aiming to reduce recidivism by helping offenders reintegrate into society, while punishment addressing immediate safety. Rehabilitation focuses on long-term solutions by transforming individuals. The balance between the two depends on societal values, the offense, and the offender's potential for reform.
When is rehabilitation used? Rehabilitation has three aspects. Number one was the non-violent crimes. Rehabilitation is often emphasized for non-violent offenders, such as those convicted of drug offenses, theft, or fraud, where the potential to reform is considered high. Second one was youth offenders. Rehabilitation is frequently used for young or juvenile offenders under the belief that they can still be guided toward positive behavior. The third one was mental health and addiction issue. Offenders suffering from addiction or mental illness are more likely to receive rehabilitative services.
When is punishment used? Punishment is used when you commit a case. The example, a serious crime and repeat offenders. Serious crime is a punishment that is most often applied in cases of serious or violent crime. The example, a murder, rape, armed robbery, and etc., where retribution and deterrence are seen as paramount. Serious punishment means facing strong consequences for doing something wrong or breaking important rules. It could involve harsh penalties like going to jail, paying a big fine, or losing certain rights or privilege for a long time. It's mean to show that the action was very wrong and to stop it from happening again. Repeat offender punishment is commonly used to repeat offenders who show little to no remorse or willingness to change, as the goal becomes incapacitations and public safety. Punishment for repeat offenders means giving tougher penalties to people who breaks the law again after already being punished before. Since they did not learn from their first punishment, the consequences are usually more serious the second or third time they do something wrong. This is to discourage them from continuing the bad behavior.
How the method used in each approach, how punishment is enforced. Incarceration, the most common form of punishment where offenders are sentenced to jail or prison. It removes the individual from society and imposes restriction on their freedom. Example, she was incarcerated by her husband in order to force her to give him her fortune, and after he had attempted to sell her chastity to a friend. And the next one is fines. So, what is fines? Fines is a financial penalties are imposed often for minor and non-violent offenses. For example, you have made a light case and you can pay it so you can get your freedom. One is community service. So, what is community service? Community service is offenders are required to perform a certain number of hours of work for the community as a form of restoration. Example, cleaning public spaces. And the next one is capital punishment. So what is capital punishment? In some jurisdictions, the death penalty is used for the most serious offenses. Through this highly controversial and becoming less common globally. Example, hanging, shooting, beheading, stunning, crucifixion, and electrocution.
How rehabilitation is implemented. Number 1. Counseling and therapy. Offenders may receive individual or group counseling to address issues like anger management, trauma, or mental health disorder. Example, counseling and therapy are forms of mental health support aimed at helping individuals cope with personal, emotional, psychological, or relational challenges. 2 is education and vocational training. Programs that provide offenders with skills, certification, or degrees, improving their chance of employment upon release. Education, broad academic knowledge, critical thinking, and intellectual development.
How effective is punishment and rehabilitations? Punishment and rehabilitation serve different purposes in the criminal justice system. punishment aims to deter crime, incapacitate offenders, and provide retributions. It can be effective for short-term deterrence and incapacitation, but often leads to high recidivism rates and doesn't address the root cause of crime. Rehabilitation focuses on reforming offenders through treatment, educations, and skill building. It has been more successful in reducing recidivism and promoting long-term societal reintegration, but its effectiveness depends on resources and individual engagement. A balanced approach combining both punishment and rehabilitations tends to be the most effective in reducing crime and fostering justice.
Example of punishment: imprisonment, confining an offender to a correctional facility; fines, imposing financial penalties for crime; community service, requiring an offender to perform unpaid work for the community; probation, supervising an offender in the community, often with condition to be met.
Examples of rehabilitation. One of those examples is education. Why education? Because it empowers individuals to regain control over their lives and overcome the challenges posed by illness, injury, or other life circumstances. Second is job training. Because it helps individuals overcome barriers to regain a sense of purpose and financial security. Third is therapy. Therapy because it addresses the multifaceted challenges individuals face. 4. Counseling. Helping offenders develop coping mechanisms and make positive life choices.
Rehabilitation. The central premise of rehabilitation is that punishment can prevent future crime by reforming the individual offender's behavior. Rehabilitation may involve education and vocational programs, counseling, intervention programs, or skills training.